great year, and he looks like he's not slowing down, really. There's no signs of him slowing down.
Incredible piece of business by Liverpool to get Salah when they did. I just think when I saw what they were coming up with, this system with Salah and Sané on the wings and Firmino as a sort of false nine, it looked like incredible business on Liverpool's part. And about Salah, I just have to say that many times, I don't know, Timo Werner, I don't follow the Bundesliga that much, and I wish I had seen him, for example, coming up the ranks a little more. With Salah, he's a player that, following the Serie A, I've seen play at Fiorentina, then at Roma, I've had him in fantasy football. I've sort of like followed his career up close. He looks like a great guy, very reserved about his private life, very smart too, very funny, incredibly professional, incredibly talented, and it's just nice to see that he came to one of the biggest clubs in England, and he's becoming a symbol to one of the biggest clubs in England. I do think he got a very bad treatment at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then also at, I don't know, I feel like Roma always do sell their best players in the end. But if they had a bit of like clairvoyance towards the future, I think they could have built a very competitive team around Salah. But we know that business is business, and that business needed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. They knew that once the kind of, in quotes, bigger boys came knocking, they wouldn't be able to say no. I think Salah, he is already now a Liverpool legend. He will be one of the names that kind of rolls off the tongue straight away when you think of Liverpool greats. Also, he's done so much work like for the community around Liverpool. I saw a kind of quick, like 2-minute video on Twitter the other day that was talking about how he personally, like his effect, has reduced like Islamophobic abuse in the Premier League online by about 50%.
That's very good.
Because he's very proud of the fact that he's a Muslim, and he's very like kind of demonstrative with his faith, because obviously it's very important to him, and this has led to people kind of finally say, oh well, if he's all right, and so if you know what I mean, I think he's having a lot of effect off the pitch as well, and I think that is only further testament to the type of person he is, as well as the outstanding footballer. Weird how he got chased out at Chelsea and was never really given a chance, but Liverpool will be more than thankful for Mourinho being Mourinho. Absolutely. Back to the Serie A. Who is our player of the year? Well, it was a close contest between a few very popular names in the top flight of Italian football, but the winner is, you would never guess, Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, we're really throwing out the surprises today, Tommy.
I mean, so it was a close contest between 3 forwards that were the headlines of Italian football last year, in order: Cristiano Ronaldo, Ciro Immobile, and Romelu Lukaku. So let's start from the third. Romelu Lukaku, he had an incredible season, the 19-20 season. 2020 was a very good season for him, 22 goals in 32 games, still impressive. Nice. However, 2 very sad moments for Lukaku too, that hadn't they happened, especially the first one, I think he would have won the award, because first year in Italy, winning the Europa League with Inter Milan, first trophy in 10 years, that would have deserved him the award. But unfortunately, he scored an own goal in the final. And then on the last day of the Champions League group stage, a few weeks back, man, I just giggled. He looks like a man who's walking in the park. Yeah. And when Sanchez hits it against his head, he's just like a man who has seen a pigeon fall from a tree. He's like, what? So, Romelu, I'm very sorry, but you're not the winner. Number 2, Ciro Immobile, 28 goals in 33 games. However, a lot of them were penalties.
I was just about to ask how many of them were penalties.
I don't want to say it, but maybe half of those were penalties. Like, there were a lot of penalties, and Lazio suffered a decline in form towards the end of the season. They're not doing that well right now. It takes a little more to win the Anglo-Italian Pod Award.
Yeah, you've got to earn this thing, guys.
And so here he comes, Cristiano Ronaldo, with 33 goals in 29 games. He single-handedly won Juventus the league last year. Let's not forget that at the end of the day, Juventus won the league by 1 point. I mean, the situation was very strange, but they did win by 1 point. Paulo Dybala also had a very good season at Juventus.
I still don't understand why nobody rates him.
Well, he was one of the best players, according to stats, for the 1920 season, but his 2020 overall wasn't that great, especially the latest part. But yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, you're the winner. And we can move to Best Manager of the Year. I have already kind of given a hint. Close contest between two men, one of them being Giampiero Gasperini, the coach for Atalanta. I mean, what Atalanta have achieved in 2020.
You only need to look at the Champions League campaign for you to be like, oh, that was very special. Very special.
But overall, Atalanta are still not a very reliable team when it comes to streaks of positive results. And right now there has been, how could I possibly give the award to Best Manager to Gasperini when there is something that has clearly happened between him and one of his best players? So maybe that says something about locker room management too. I'm going to pick Stefano Pioli.
I need to remind you that Tommy is an Inter fan, right?
Yeah,
he's not undercover.
No, look, Stefano Pioli, rightfully so, if we give the award to AC Milan, I think some credit needs to be given to their manager as well. He's figured out a pretty straightforward system, a 4-3-3, that, however, turns out to be pretty effective. Mm-hmm. Even, once again, I think that he deserves a lot of the credit also because when Ibrahimovic, the biggest star, wasn't there, the team still has performed. He hasn't lost a game in Serie A since March. Mm-hmm. They've lost only one game since March against Lille in the Europa League, 3-0. So, I don't know, maybe at some point, I have a feeling that at some point something is going to happen. Milan are going to be found out just a little bit. But as of now, the word goes to you, Stefano. Congratulations.
Auguri, Stefano.
Auguri, Stefano. And who's the best manager in the Premier League?
Well, I promise that I have looked at other teams beyond the two that I've only talked about. But the best manager, again, came down to two candidates for me. And it was either Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool or Dean Smith for Aston Villa, right? So it's the two teams kind of popping up again, the two same names. But I think these are the two that have done the best job this year, simply, right? Jurgen Klopp ended Liverpool's year wait for a title. He has got them back through, like this season, they've had a lot of injuries, not been able to start the same centre-back partnership more than 2 games in a row, I don't think, and he's still managed to steer them top of the table. Like, what I like about Liverpool, and is what kind of most successful teams have when they have a system, is that, like, a player can come in from the youth team and look completely... You always sit and go, oh my God, is this another one? Is this another player that can be a first team? It's another great player. And I think they've found that because the system is so clear, that the youth players are able to come in and just slot in straight away. So you look at players like Curtis Jones, who's come in, Nico Williams, they're coming to the side, not looked out of place and just been able to fill in the system. And it just shows that this Liverpool juggernaut isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon, I don't think. I think the best manager has to be Jurgen Klopp for how he's managed Liverpool at the end of last season through COVID and through injuries at the beginning of this season. I wanted to give a special shout out to Dean Smith for keeping up Aston Villa on the last day of the season and guiding them into 5th place at the start of this season. He obviously masterminds the 7-2 win over Liverpool, the 3-0 win over Arsenal. They've already beaten both Leicester and Wolves this season, both away. So they're getting some really good results. But I think I have to go with Jurgen Klopp. They've only lost 4 games in the Premier League this year. Look like they should retain it this year. Yeah, Jurgen Klopp, best manager. I don't know how to say congratulations in German. Child to go?
I have no fucking idea. But
to go? I can't remember. I think maybe that's welcome. There's my high school German being exposed. But anyway, congratulations in German, Jurgen.
I'm going to say Wunderbar.
Wunderbar, there we go.
Awesome. But Rory, next up, it's not a Liverpool player, surprisingly. Best signing of 2020 in the Premier League.
We are moving away from Merseyside and the West Midlands, and we're going to the Northwest. I think, again, there is only one answer to this question. Best signing of 2020 has been Bruno Fernandes.
No doubt about that one.
You can't look anywhere else. I would say the best signing in world football this year. 45 games, 26 goals.
How many assists?
17 assists.
17? Damn.
And he joined on the January the 30th. This is a guy who, I think we talked about it in a previous pod, the best post-Ferguson signing by some distance. I think you have to say that. And the impact he has had on the rest of that team by his leadership, through his attitude, through his ability, it's just been unbelievable. And I think he is a big part of the look that Solskjaer gets, as in you have to make your own look. And Fernandes does make a lot of that look for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember Fernandez at Novara, at Sampdoria, and I would never think that one day I would see him play at Manchester United. He was very talented back in the day, but it just didn't seem like he was who he is now.
Yeah.
And I think that he's got a scary personality. I mean, scary,
He's
professional,
so driven,
and crazily driven. And you said that, I don't know if we recorded it on the pod or if it was a conversation between me and you, but it really feels like, there are a lot of players who are like, they get excited for the move to a big club, but then when they get to the big club, they don't pay out the expectations that people have. Well, I think that it was like, if I go to Manchester United, I cannot fuck around. I'm going to like help this club be back at the levels where it belongs.
Yeah, well, I think he's seen an opportunity for him to be the talisman and him to be the name that's linked with United's comeback, right? It's been incredible, and he seems to have formed partnerships very quickly with both Cavani and Rashford. And Cavani's looking like that could be a very clever signing for them as well. It was still a panic signing, but I think it might be a panic signing that works out well.
I did say that. Cavani is just Cavani, man. Yeah,
and I think him and Fernandez seem to be working really well together. And yeah, there's only one answer. Who is it in Serie A, Tommy?
In Serie A, it's another youngster. He comes from Sweden, and he's only 39 years old. And he goes by the name of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Once again, I did look at other names, but there is no name that stands out more than Zlatan's. I remember the game that they played on January 11th. I did check this earlier. Away at Cagliari. It was the first game where Ibrahimovic was back, and I was very curious. I was like, all right, let's see what they got. He's just coming back from the MLS. I'm really curious to see what he's all about. This new look, AC Milan with Ibrahimovic. I did watch that game, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. He still got it. He still shoots from outside the box. He still wrestles defenders. He still has the touch. He still has it all. Well, guess what? That wasn't a coincidence. It just kept improving. I don't recall another moment in recent history when people were really wondering, who was it, the manager or this specific player that not necessarily with his footballing skills, but with his personality turned the faith of the team around. Also, I don't know, AC Milan fans love Ibrahimovic, and they feel like it would have been a huge disappointment to see such an incredible football star come back and not perform quite as well. And at the end of the day, you realize one thing, Zlatan Ibrahimovic does not age. I don't know when this man is going to retire, but the whole MLS thing sounded weird. He wants to retire with a bang. Like he's got a few chips on his shoulder. The fact that he has never won the Ballon d'Or, the fact that he has never won the Champions League, so I feel like he wants to retire.
He still has some boxes to tick.
Yeah, and he wants to retire with a bang.
I think that whole MLS move was quite a clever move because he was coming back from, I think we might have talked about this, but he was coming back from a big injury and he went to a less competitive league where potentially he wasn't going to get as roughed up and it wasn't going to be as intense on his joints as a kind of year to recover whilst playing football, and was able to come back to Europe and kind of really push on. I think this guy could play till 42, 43. I don't think there's going to be he doesn't rely on his pace anymore, not really. His game has changed.
Euro 2021 coming up. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if Sweden would have him back.
I would personally call him up. But
yeah, I don't know. I can understand why you might not want to. But yeah.
So, after 4 awards, we've got AC Milan with 3 awards. Best team, best manager, and best player. And best signing. Juventus with 1, best player. Now, the first award for Inter Milan is Best Youngster of 2020. Here, there were quite a few names, but not because I got tired of forwards. Dejan Kulusevski had a very good season last year.
I love Kulusevski. He's in my fantasy team.
He had a very good 1920 season. His 2020 wasn't necessarily that incredible. I'm going to give the award to Alessandro Bastoni from Inter Milan. This guy, central defender, he took Godin's spot at Inter Milan. Now,
big shoes to fill, right?
The Godin we got was not the Godin of in his prime at Atletico, of course, but this guy was born in 1999. For a 21-year-old guy to take Godin's spot, to take Godin's spot and become the starter at Inter Milan. Even there was a period when Skriniar was benched, and Bastoni really came up for Inter Milan. He also got his first senior call-up for the Italy squad. Mancini praised him. He said he's going to be the next Bonucci. I hope he doesn't turn out to be quite as quick as Bonucci.
Yeah, okay.